Hey guys, today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a carved monolith. There's a few supplies we need before we get started, so let's grab them. We need a gnarly chunk of wood, we need some resin, cups and a scale for measuring out our resin, cardboard, wax paper, and a hot glue gun for making our mold, pressure pot for casting, and some sandpaper to finish it off. First thing you're going to want to do, grab your wood chunk. We're going to trim this up. I like to go 2 inches by 2 inches. Now that we got our piece trimmed up to the size that we want, it's time to make the mold. You want to take your piece and think about the overall height that you want. So we've got our piece here. We want the finished piece to be maybe 4 inches, 5 inches tall. And then we're gonna need a little bit of room just for the mold itself. So you take those numbers and you wanna lay that out on a simple piece of cardboard that you've got laying around the house. It's gonna look like a cross on your cardboard so that you can see each of the 4 sides folding up and coming into place. Now that you've got your shape of your mold all ready to go, let's glue those sides in place with your hot glue gun, remembering to put a nice extra layer of glue around the bottom of your mold just to cover any spots where the resin's gonna wanna leak out. Next thing, how much resin do we need? The beauty of working with a lot of the resins for monoliths is they're a 1-to-1 ratio. So however much resin side A is the same amount for side B. So what I like to do is grab some paper cups and put it with the mold and just visualize the size of the mold with the size of the paper cup. This is a gut feel kind of step, and more is more in this step. Half with side A, half with side B, give that a mix. Begin pouring with a slow, steady stream and just fill your mold to your desired height. Remember, give yourself a little bit of space at the top of that mold as we move it around and load our pressure pot. Once you fill up the mold, check for any leaks, panic and try to fix it with tape if you have to. Let's load it in our pressure pot. Make sure your pressure pot is nice and level, ready to go, and crank up the PSI to 45 pounds. If your tank can handle it, I like to go to 60, push the boundaries a little bit, and let that sit. Check your demold time for your particular resin. It's time to get our part out of the pressure pot. So we'll be able to tell right away whether we failed or succeeded when we open the pot. So let's check out our part. Everything looks good. You can see a nice solid cast. Now let's just get this mold off. Now we went with that cardboard disposable mold so that we can simply cut the mold off of your monolith. Now that we've got the mold fully off of our monolith, it's time to polish it up. I like to start with a 500 grit sandpaper, just hit all the edges, top included, because you want that nice visual from the top down on our resin. Hit all sides with a 500. You'll be able to work out any imperfections in the sides. This is a pretty aggressive grit with the 500. Then move up to 1,000 grit, followed by a 2,000 grit. Pro tip for you guys, using an orbital sander or any kind of sander that you might have is gonna make this process a whole lot faster. If you've got some other sandpaper in your shop, the higher grit, the more you use, obviously the higher shine and polish you're gonna get. But 500, 1,000, 2,000 delivers a really nice result. This is what it should look like. A beautiful, handmade wood resin carved monolith.